So what we're going to talk today about is the RedView CRM Advanced Enquiries, a new module that we've built. First of all, I'm Stephen Butler. I'm the CEO and the product manager for RedView. Even though the Zoom says Dom's name, I'm actually presenting. The agenda for today is to talk about the Advanced Enquiries module, which is fundamentally functionality to be able to build custom fields and custom forms for capturing data. What we'll go through is look at what our custom form is, how to create one, how we can capture data, how that works with the Outlook modules, and then talk about a few other things, some of the things coming forward. So basically, the custom forms module is a part of our CRM lead management capability. We are looking at building custom forms for client and contact information, but at this stage, just covering off on the lead management, as that's where we've had the most feedback in terms of the requirement. Basically, the idea here is to be able to capture all the information that you need from a new inquiry and have it recorded in the one place against the inquiry in our database. The types of examples that we've seen with users have been the existence of Word documents or PDF forms or the like that are used to collect information about the inquiry during the process of dealing with the lead. What we're trying to do is structure and validate the collection of that information so that it's electronic and we can capture it in a way that can be reused. And then secondly, I guess, is to provide some instructions so that less experienced staff can be involved in the process earlier. So by building a custom form with a suite of instructions around it, then the person can talk to with more knowledge about the information that's required to be collected, and basically then have all of that information all in the one place to be able to see it for an inquiry. So a little bit just before I jump into it about the futures for this. At the moment, we're working on an API so that the custom fields can be incorporated into your website in the same way that our standard capture API works. Then the next step is to be able to send the form to the inquirer so that they can directly update the information for you where required. And then eventually, as I think you're all Leap users here, mapping to the Leap fields. This is a bit more complex than we expected. So we need to do a bit of work there. But the idea is that if the information is captured and it relates to information in Leap, then we'll be able to map it and store the information against the matter in much the same way as when you create a matter now using our standard functionality. So let's have a look at the software. So firstly, I'll just go to the configuration area. For custom forms, you have this new function here, inquiry custom forms fields. If we click on that, then there are two areas. The first is just the list of, I guess, what we've called custom field groups, but fundamentally a form. And what you can do here is you have a header form that consists of fields. So if I look, for example, at this TPD form, what we can see here is this is what the form looks like. So we've defined that with a header, some information at the top of the form, some groupings, and then some fields within it. So this custom form, this is what a custom form would look like when it's displayed within our system. So to create a custom form, what you're required to do is create a header record, so a form group record. So in this instance, if we have a look at the TPD form here, it's looks like this. So basically the header has a group name, which is a unique code that you put in, and that is used to identify the form in a number of different places. Then it has a name, some descriptions, and then you have an area of law that the form is applicable to. So what this will mean is when the area of law is selected against the inquiry, the form will pop up for the collection of extra information. So you may have forms that are applicable for some areas of law, where the other areas of law you're not collecting extra information. The other important thing here is the active flag that defines whether the form is in fact active. So it won't be available to be displayed unless you tick that flag on. And that allows you to develop the form without it coming into production. So it only becomes available when you tick it as active. So a form can, as I say, be related to a specific area of law, but you can also have a general form for information that you want to capture against all inquiries. So example here, I've built up a common details form. So this is where, as an example, we're asking whether they've seen a solicitor in relation to this matter before, who it was, on what date, or has that we dealt with the person before. So these are just example questions. You can build them, as you see fit. So to look at a custom form, the details, then we can see our TPD form has been set up with a name and a header record, and then it has 18 fields against it. So if I click into the fields here, what you'll see is the list of the fields that have been entered, and the name, and then the type of the field. So the types of fields that are available are a label field, so that's for grouping fields together, a lookup list, text fields, currency fields, date fields, a yes/no field, and integer and number fields that are available. With lookup lists, they can also be defined within the system. So here I set up some examples. So I have a lookup list called the Australian state. So if I select the contents of the lookup list, we can see here that I've just simply set up the state in the states in alphabetical order. This grab item here lets you make the list order different if you want. So if it's not necessarily alphabetical that you're looking at, but might be a priority or might be a different sequence, the more popular ones at the top, then that all of this information can be moved around in that way. So you define your custom form lookup lists, and then when we go to the form, we can come in and let's have a look at this commercial law form. Oh no, well, let's look at this property form here for the moment. And it has 3 questions in it. If we look at the first question, we can see that it's been it has a name of location, it has a description, which can either be a description of a field or a question, and then it has the type of field. So because I've selected it as a lookup list, what I'm then required to do is select from a lookup list of the available lookup lists. So in this instance, I've set up Australian state. I can now type in instructions about the field. So in this instance, something's been entered, but we've just been playing around with some AI here to be able to see whether we can help with that process. So I could say, and our ChatGPT will go and generate some instructions for me, which may or may not be useful. As I say, we're just trying to work, trying to make it as easy as possible to set these things up. I guess initially we're imagining that this would potentially be replacing forms that have already been set up within the firm, and we can simply create an electronic way of structuring and collecting that data. Pardon me. So once the forms are set up, they're can be changed and maintained as required. As I said, this total permanent disablement inquiry here is a set of fields that I've set up previously. And if we go and have a look at one of these, we can go and edit and change an existing field. So in this instance, we've built, the name of the questions, a lookup list. We've built a lookup list for TPD claim type, and then some more detailed instructions, which can be formatted. That we're using the standard text editor that we use for building things to be able to create the instructions if required. So once the form's set up, basically we go into a new inquiry, and for a new inquiry, what we'll see here is if I select the add button, I now add in the people that are the name of the person. So it's and down here I would say that it's an email, and that it's and now by selecting the area of law TPD, what it will do is it will find that we have set up an active custom form for this information, and now you can go through the questions to be able to find the extra information out. So what type of claim is it? Looking up that, using that lookup list, and what Australian state is applicable. So once more, using a lookup list. In this instance, we have the insurance cover. So what we can do is at any stage, the operator can bring up the instructions to find out more information about what needs to be captured. We then put in this is a currency field. So am I still working? This is a yes/no field. Now we have a date field. So we can select from the lookup list, from the date character. So trying to be consistent with the same user interface that we've had all throughout the system, and using the same user controls. So we now save that away. And sorry, I should have pointed out that one of the other attributes that you can put against a field is whether it's mandatory or not. So that's something that just needs to be considered, appropriately. So once the information is captured, if there is a custom field available for the inquiry, a custom form available for the inquiry, what you'll see is this further details tab will now appear, and that will then bring up the details of what's been captured through the process. So what we can also do as well, is that the history report that's generated by the system also now includes the custom field, so we can see the questions that have been asked and answered here within the report. And if you're using the functionality to either create the matter in Leap or link to the matter and bring across the report, this would be attached to the matter in Leap when you create it. So that's the basics of the custom fields coming through the the portal. If you're using the Outlook add-ins, what we'll see here is the same type of functionality available. So in this instance, what we have is we click on the Outlook add-in button. We want to bring in the details of the inquiry for the Outlook from Outlook, the email. So one thing I'll just point out here at the moment is some new functionality that we've added with our AI assistant. So we can see here that the actual nature of the inquiry and the details of the inquiry is in the body of the email. So if I now use our AI scan function, that will bring in the details by looking at the form of within the email. So we can now just quickly move the mobile number over there and add that in, and now it will fill the information in based upon what's in the email body, as opposed to the header details. And I just point that out that this is a module. I will have a separate webinar on the functionality that we've built in using the AI capabilities that we now have available to us. And then what happens here now is if I select this as a TPD area of law, what you can see is a new tab comes available, and if we open that up, we then have the same questions and the same capability in terms of instructions and the like to fill in the form from within Outlook. So that's the basics of the custom form advanced inquiries functionality. In terms of just a little point out to some support resources about it. If we jump to the resource center here, what you'll see is down the bottom here, the inquiry custom forms, and that's a quick how-to video in terms of setting up the forms and how they work. All right, well, look, with that, let's leave it where it is. If you have any questions, please email me. Otherwise, I'll send out a copy of this recording in the probably by tomorrow. And otherwise, let me know. Thanks very much for coming along.